Tammy Webster of Bull Riding Rodeo Connection, and I'm here at the Fort Worth Stock Show on Rodeo with Cal White. And Cal, why don't you start off by just telling us what your title here?
I'm the social media manager for the show.
And how long have you been doing that?
This is my fourth show. 3 years, fourth show.
Now tell us a little bit about just the history of the rodeo here. We know it's very traditional, been around a long time, so tell us a little bit about it.
This is our 117th year. We began in 1896 on the banks of Marine Creek here in Fort Worth. We moved to this facility in 1944 to this new Coliseum. At the time, we just needed a venue that was more, state-of-the-art, with more capacity, so we could grow as a show.
Now, this is one of the longest-running rodeos. How many performances do we have?
There are 30 PRCA rodeo performances, and then we also have 6 additional specialty performances, which include Bulls Night Out, Bulls Night Out, Best of the West Invitational Ranch Rodeo, and the Cowboys of Color Rodeo. Best of Mexico. There you go. Best of Mexico celebration.
Now, just this year, how would you compare this year to the past years?
The past year's been great. The weather is a big factor because our event's in January and February. So, obviously we've had great weather this year, and the attendance has been really up.
Well, I know there's a lot more going on than just the rodeo itself. I mean, there's all kinds of activities, other contests going on. Just kind of share a little bit about what if a family comes out here, what they can do when they come out here.
Well, there's plenty of family events. We have three museums that are part of the grounds during the show, which would be the National Cowgirl Museum, Fort Worth Museum of Science and History, and the Texas Cattle Raisers Museum. So that adds a new element to the show. That gives them some things to do that are, kind of arts-based. We also have tons of cattle barns that they can walk through to view the animals, to interact with some of the exhibitors. We have a live music venue, midway, shopping, you name it, we've got it out here for the family.
Now, cost-wise, is it pretty cost-efficient for a family to come out here?
Definitely. I mean, it's a general admission price is $10 for adults, $5 for children. You can also purchase a rodeo ticket for $25 for a weekend performance and $19 for a weekday performance. And that also includes general admission, so you can do either or. There's not many events you can go to and spend $10 and get in and be able to attend the things that we have here at the grounds.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about is just the athletes that come here. You got a lot of the top performers that come here, and kind of compare it to some of the ones that's been here in the past. Some of the some of the traditions, legends that's maybe been here in the past.
We have some great athletes that come here. Matter of fact, the NFR happens to be right before our event, which is in December, and most of the guys that are in the NFR, guys and gals, actually attend our event and participate. So you can almost see a mini NFR here in Fort Worth. Compared to the legends, you really can't compare to the legends that have walked across this arena floor and sat in these in the stands. I tell that to people all the time as they're watching the rodeo. Just kind of imagine all the people that have sat in these very seats and walked across that dirt out there, and it's pretty amazing to think about, really.
Or are there any particular names that you could come up with that just kind of talk about some that's been here in the past that people would recognize their names?
I mean, anybody from Don Gay, 8-time world champion, Casey Tibbs, you name it. And if there have been a big name in the rodeo industry, I mean, there's chances are they've been through this arena.
Well, one of the new ones that's coming up, well, he's not too new anymore, but 2-time world champion bareback rider Casey Field is going to be back tonight. So he's definitely one of the legends in the making.
Definitely. Casey Field rides really well. I was watching him the other day, and I was just amazed at how athletic he really is and how fast he moves his feet and beats those horses to the ground. He just got, he's got a lot of ability, and he just makes it, he's a step above a lot of the guys. So.
Now, just the families that come out here and spending the time, the kids just seem to really like it. I know one of the entertainers y'all have here is Whiplash. Talk a little bit about that.
Whiplash is awesome. That's one of the number one questions that Brad Barnes, our general manager, gets on an annual basis is when is Whiplash coming back? He hadn't been here in about 5 years, so we brought him back, and it's been a great experience for everybody. He actually was in some of our stock show commercials. Obviously, you can see the crowd's reaction during the rodeo. They just go crazy when Whiplash comes out. I mean, not everywhere you go, you can see a monkey riding a border collie and herding sheep. So it's just a new element to the show, and it has that cowboy element to it, but it's also kind of unique in its own fashion.
Yeah, I've got to say that's one of the things that the crowd seems to really liven up, and a lot of cheers for Whiplash when he comes out there every time.
Definitely.
Now, some of the other entertainment that you have out here, including the bullfighters, even though they're not really entertainment, they're here to do a job. Tell us a little bit about them. We got Amy Burrell and Dusty Tuckness here. Dusty's a 3-time PRCA bullfighter of the year. So tell a little bit about that and just getting that kind of, talent out here.
Andy Burrell and Dusty Tuckness are the best, some of the best in the business. Obviously we have this event is a really unique event because it has so many performances, and those guys are put up against some of the best bulls in the world, on a regular basis. And there's not many guys that could get out there and do what these guys do on regular basis, and be able to walk away from it, and come back again the next year. And Andy and Dusty really do that. Obviously, towards the end of the event, they're starting to get a little bit sore, but you see those guys out there every night giving it their 110% effort, still working the fighting bull and selling the show. They're just great. They're very talented guys.
Yeah, well, I was out here at the beginning for the Bulls Night Out, which obviously that's 2 nights of just bull riding. So they have about 30 to 40 bulls that they're fighting that night, and then you've got all the performances. And I can't really tell a big difference in their attitudes or their performance from the beginning to now. They're just out there just working just as hard, entertaining the crowd just as much now as they were the very first performance.
That's kind of what sets a cowboy apart from just an everyday average Joe. You get out there and you're up against 1,500-pound bull on 12 contestants per night per event. And at the end of the day, you can smile, and Dusty's sending out tweets and talking about his performance that night, and saying how blessed he is, and smiling about it. And it's just that's just a unique individual. Him and Andy are just unique guys, very tough guys, got a lot of heart, and that's why we have them here in Fort Worth.
Well, I know we have the chuck wagon races here, which I know all the rodeos don't have that, and that's always been one of my favorites. A little bit about that and the history of that.
The Canadian chuck wagon races are just they're a very traditional event. They started in Canada, and gained popularity because of the element of danger involved. Up in Canada, they actually have several teams that race all together. Here we actually only have 2 teams we have 3 races with 2 teams in each race. But there's some close calls, wheels to wheels, horses to horses, dirt slinging on the box seat holders. It's a neat event, and you can kind of wager against some of your buddies and say, okay, well I'm gonna take the Coors Light wagon or the Dickies wagon, so.
It's definitely an exciting event. It's like I said, it's always been one of my favorites since I was a kid. Now, one of the real unique things that I see here at the rodeo here is that y'all still have a band here. And I don't know if this is the only rodeo that still has one, but a little bit about that and just the history and why y'all still have that here.
It's just something that we're a very traditional event. Again, we go back to that tradition. You can see the bunting that we have here, the iconic red diamond, the white and red buck and shoots. That all plays into the the look of the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. And that's one thing about the the live band is that's part of our event. People come to the show, they hear the live band. That's very unique to our environment, and we don't plan on changing that anytime soon.
Well, we have the last performance tonight, which we'll know who all the champions are. And then, of course, we'll be back next year for the performances. So if you wanted to give just some information to people or just an encouragement for those that didn't make it this year to come next year, what would you tell them?
Rodeo, that's how it is. There's guys going to be out tonight that obviously deserve to be here. They rode well. They've endured some of the toughest animals in the world. There's guys that didn't have such a good luck, but next year it'll be different. That's the thing about rodeo is it's all based on one ride and one run, and anybody can be the champ. So we're not banking on any NFR qualifiers or any world champions being the champ tonight. It could be the underdog. That's what's great about rodeo. So come out and watch.
Well, thanks a lot for listening. This is Tammy Webster with Bull Riding Rodeo Connection.